Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Steph's Design Space. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, thank you. Sorry, my voice decided it wanted to be kind of wonky, so we're going with that. Today I'm going to make what I have named an accordion tag. I don't know what it's really called. This is literally something that popped up into my brain, and I'm sure there are others out there. But this is, in my opinion, a Steph original because I have not seen it anywhere. That does not mean it doesn't exist anywhere. It just means I haven't seen it. Okay, so we have this accordion tag, and inside the accordion tag we have another little tag. So this is my little rough draft to see to see like what's in my brain to like actually go on paper. So this is my little go-to. Now there's a lot of writing space in this. It's not a highly decorative piece as much as it is a lot of writing space. So that is what we're going for today. So let's get started. The first thing I need to do is pull out my handy dandy little notebook to write down all these measurements for y'all. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I know I'm using a 12 by 12. It's funny, is this was a double-sided 12 by 12 and I covered it up with coffee dyed paper, so we're not going to do that today. This is a single, we're going to use a single-sided 12 by 12, and we are going to score it at 3, 6, and 9. Okay? So if you have a big scoreboard, we're going to score at 3, 6, and 9, which gives us 12. Alright, so, and my scoring tool would be where? We're going to use this one. Alright. So I'm trying to zoom in a little bit more. I've had several people say, can you zoom in so we can see better? I zoom in, it doesn't show the entire thing, but I'm going to try through 3, 6, and 9. So this is a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and we just scored it at I am calling this an accordion tag. It is a 12 by 12, and we are going to score at 3, 6, and 9. Okay, and then we're going to fold and burnish. I reorganized my desk, so everything is in front of me and it makes a lot more sense, but I will tell you it will take a hot minute for my brain to be like, oh yeah, we moved that here. So I'm just folding like an accordion. Okay, and then I am taking my bone folder and I am burnishing it down. Okay, so now we have the 12 by 12, and we have scored it at 3, 6, and 9, and it is like an accordion. Okay, so we're going to take that and we're going to cut it in half. This is a 12 by 12, so we are going to cut it at 6. A pencil. So we're going to cut this at 6. Under, come on. Cooperate. How is everybody on this fine Tuesday? Alright, so we can use this for another tag or anything else we want. Right now I'm just setting it to the side Well, not right there because it's going to be in my way. Like I said, I have reorganized my desk. Okay, so this is going to be the tag. All of this is going to be so it's going to be like this. This is going to be the front, that's going to be the back. This is going to kind of be, okay, I have to remember how I did this. Okay, this is my 6x6, and so that is like that. Okay, how did I do this? I know y'all love me because I am on here. So I think it's more like this. Writing space and writing space. Okay, so this is the way it's going to be. Okay. So we have our, it's going to open like this. So it's going to open to the left. All right. And we are going to, in this moment, we're going to cut our little notches to make it a tag. So let's do that with scissors. I've rearranged so much, I don't know where half of my stuff is. Okay, so we are going to kind of line this up. And we are going to cut and cut. So I will say that these little templates are the absolute best, and I have so many different tag templates. And the thing is and I've shared this before, so you can take a tag template, and because it is the clear plastic, you can cut out a template and make sure it is exactly where you want it, right? And I'm telling y'all this because shh, it's a secret. Can y'all keep a secret? Okay. In my November junk journal sub box, that is my 5th anniversary for Steph's Design Space. And I have decided that in that box, spoiler alert, if you don't want to know, go away. But if you want to know the amazing, one of the amazing items that is going to be in that box is this template, all my tag templates, and where is the big one? Where's, okay, and there's another tag template that is not in here, but it is the trifold. So you're in pockets, maybe, if I have enough left over. Anyway, y'all are going to get a plethora of these clear templates. So you can lay it on any cardstock that you have, whether you buy it from Michael's or Joann's or Steph's Design Space. You can lay this clear template on top and cut out where you want it to be. Like, that is amazing. So shh. That is going to be in the November subscription box. So, yeah. Stay tuned for that. Okay, so we have this cut as a tag. And I want the center. Now, the last time I did the center as a pocket. And I think I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, so we're going to burnish this down really well. So when you have it like this, okay, so this is your This is your entire thing. So you're going to fold this under and under. It's going to be the inside. And we are just going to glue, oops, like that. And then with all of our crookedness, we're going to smush it together, oops, together. Alright, now we got to put the cap on this because we know, right? We know how that goes. Alright, so journaling space, and in the middle is a hidden spot for another tag. So that's what we're going to work on that first. Actually, so I can do two things. You can do, anybody can do two things to make this journaling space not so white. One is to get like coffee dyed paper or something like that and glue it on top. Now, the simpler solution is to just ink it up. Any kind of ink, whatever your ink of choice is. If you only have one distressed ink, use that. So I'm just going to ink this up and we're going to use Vintage Photo. Okay. And I'm going to start here. Now when you use a dauber, especially a very well loved dauber like mine that apparently has tape stuck to it, to avoid the little circle look, what you want to do is start on like any trash piece of paper. This is like a thing I get from Costco maybe, or in the, whatever. It's just a advertisement. And you're going to start here. And then you're going to go and ink it up. Because if you start here, you end up with the circle. And then you have to blend it out. Alright, so that one is inked up. And honestly, to me, it adds less bulk. So on this one, on my practice one that I did add some coffee dyed paper. There's nothing wrong with that. But it did bulk it up a bit. And so if you just use some ink, if you have ink, it definitely decreases the amount of bulk that are on these tags. And I know there's a lot of circles. Like, kind of like you do your makeup. You just blend them out. Okay. Now that being said, I did the inside with Vintage Photo, but I do need to ink up the outside, and I definitely need it much darker. So we're going to take some ground espresso. And just do the outside edges. And really, because when you use, most cardstock has a white core, and I will show you what that looks like. So when you have a white core, when you cut any paper, you're going to see that white edge. The only paper that does not have a white core is very expensive. Cardstock that is solid. So I do have some like black cardstock that I use, and it does not have a white core, which means it is black through and through. So no matter how I cut it, I don't have to worry about the edges having any kind of white. It has a black core. Most of your scrapbook paper has a white core. And that is why inking is so good, is because a little bit of ink can really just take the white out of the core, right? So when you cut paper, usually you could see white there, but we're not going to see white because I am covering it up. Okay, so that is all inked up. And now, excuse me, I did pull some other scrapbook paper that was in the same book. This is a book from Hobby Lobby. It may or may not, it was on clearance, so it may or may not still be there. I do not know. So, for the tag on the inside of this, now obviously it has to be significantly smaller than this because of glue and cutting and all of that. Now we are going to make this our tag. Now this is, I have to remember, I'm trying to zoom in so y'all can see. This is 3 inches. So in reality, I want to make the tag that goes inside 2.5 inches. And that may or may not be small enough. We'll see. So 2.5. Okay. Now I've gotten to where I really just like using a ruler instead of getting out 1, 2, this is 1, 2.5 is right there. But yeah, getting out a ruler instead of the ginormous whatchamacallit? What is that called? Paper trimmer. Like just doing that, and I like the edge it gives, right? It's just so nice. So we're doing that. Okay, so that's gonna fit in there, and it's not gonna go all the way to the bottom because glue being what glue is. So let's go ahead and just cut it right here. I may end up adapting it. We'll see. Again, I know I gave y'all fancy measurements in the beginning, but honestly, just do, that's not even straight. Just do what feels right. I'm just going to straighten this up a hair. It didn't need much, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Now, let me get my corner punch. I usually use my stencils, but I found these punches, and I'm like, okay, you need to use those for like these little things. Now let us make sure this fits inside this inner pocket that we created. And it is going to be a little tight because the glue smushes out. So I think I need to trim a hair off of the ends. Just a hair, not a whole lot. Just a hair. On both ends. And we'll see. And I'm going to clean these a little up. Okay. Now let's see if it fits inside. Yes, it fits inside of that little secret hole. Does it go all the way to the end? So I want it to barely stick up because I want it to be a secret, right? Like I just want it to look like decoration. So why don't we cut off a hair. I don't know how much I'm cutting off. A hair. So if any of y'all can find the measurement to a hair, put it in the comments down below. Okay, so that goes down in there. Now I will put a tab topper on top so we can pull it out, but honestly, this one is just going to be like that little secret writing place that we all want when we have journals. Now, I made a joke today on my Facebook Live that I could have any of my journals like out, open, with writing, and nobody in my house would even think twice to read it. But not everybody has that ability, right? So let me find my tab toppers if I can. Yes, right here. And this has come off, so this belongs on labels. I don't know where that is. I don't have a lot in here. I can definitely, I do have a lot in on my website. I just don't have a lot in here. So let's just do one of these. I have a lot of bees, which doesn't really match. So let's go with this. Or we could just go with plain Jane, right? I like this one the best, I think. Okay. Now, originally when I was making these, I made it to where, and I'll show you. I have since stopped doing that, so these are older tab toppers. But I made it to where it had like this little thing so you could label it. Well, not everybody wants that. So I took that off, but it is here right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a little stamp on that to make it look okay. So here's my little stamps, and to make it pop a little bit, oh, I had to get up and get my stamps and to get up and get this micron. So this is what we're gonna do. Okay, we are going to, with this little micron, we're gonna go around. So if you have any other stamps, or if you have my stamps that are like this and you're like, how do we make that pretty? You very messily grab a micron or Sharpie or whatever and go around it. And it's okay that it's messy. I swear, we don't have to be perfect, because that is a standard I cannot sustain. So if junk journaling or anything that I do requires perfection, I can't. I'm out. I can't sustain it, right? So we are going to do, nope, that's too big, that's too big. We can do art, we can do book. It doesn't matter what it says. Okay, the key is we're just gonna put something in there that actually fits. Like voyage, nah, wouldn't really fit. I could put diary, but it doesn't really fit in there. Oh, I was like, where'd my journal one go? See, this won't fit, it's too long for that. So we're not going to use that. But we can use notes. I've been using that a lot. Or you know what? Let's use Trip. Like, I'm not going to use that very often, but alright, so Trip. And it's gonna go like that. Perfect. All right. So we're just gonna and again, it doesn't have to fit in the box. It's okay that it's uneven or whatever the case may be. It is really okay. Because in the whole scheme of things, it's not going to look off. It's going to look like, oh wow, that looks so cool, that it's not perfect. Alright, I'm just getting a baby wipe so I can clean this off. Because I am trying so hard to do a better job of putting stuff up. Okay, I don't know where the journal one went. See, that's the thing. They fall off. And I've lost lace. Okay, here's lace. Where's journal? Oh, she's way over here. Alright, journal. Stick. Okay, so let's put these back in here before any more get, and that's why I'm like, okay, let me clean up right now after myself, because those will get lost like a bad penny. Okay, we definitely need to do some distressing on the tags. All of my tags moving forward will not have that white space. Now you can definitely still put a word there, but, or you can leave it blank, or you can put whatever you want. I learned my lesson. And sometimes things look really great on paper, but then you put it down to reality and you're like, ew, no. Like, no, that's not a thing. So that was my reality, is printing them out and trying to use them, and I'm like, oh gosh, no, that's just awful. Nobody needs to do that. I'm grabbing my fan because I am very hot, and I forgot to bring it over when I started recording. Okay, that's just my little face fan. All right. So, trying to get those lined up with the top. Now this tag is not my priority, but we are going to like make sure that it is okay to go in. To me, this is good enough. I'm not going to do anything extra with that. I'm not going to add decoration or what have you. I feel like if I were to use this in a specific journal, then I could add decoration as I go, right? The only thing I am gonna do, I think I need a couple of more of these that are, so like this would look good. And we're just going to center that. So I'm going to use this. This is just a long strip. So this is, all of these are my templates for like my lines for journaling cards or tags or anything journaling. And they are from my boxes. So when I send you a box, a junk journal box or the advent box, and both are available on my website. So when I send those to you, everything in there, every single piece of that box, packaging, everything can be used in your journals, including the box. And when I say that, one of the things, I mean, you can do a lot of things with corrugated cardboard. But one of my favorite things to do is create that. So I need to maybe get a longer, wider strip but this is fine. So to me, this is great for journaling. It's like some vintage looking lines. You can journal on here with whatever you want. And if so, you can also decorate this if you wanted. Okay. So I'm going to stick this. And that's just going to stick up like that. So you're just going to have this little thing that says trip. And if you pull it, then you have this journal card. Okay. Now, this is all journaling. Like, I'm not decorating this at all. This is all journaling. What I may do is, excuse me. What I may do is go ahead and do some lines on this part and this part. So the middle parts, I'll do some lines, and then here it's whatever you want to do. You can journal on it or not. You can add pictures. You can do whatever your heart desires. Let me make sure y'all are in frame. I tried to zoom in more today because I have had several comments about that, and I definitely read and listen to your comments and your suggestions. But that being said, I have to pay, excuse me, let me get a drink. I have to pay closer attention and make sure y'all are in frame, because I have this habit. I'm not going to call it a bad habit. It's just a habit to pull everything close to me when I am filming. So hopefully this works out better. So let me know if the little zoomed in is better for y'all, or if you would, if you liked it zoomed out. I don't know unless y'all tell me. Okay, so we can use this for all of this is writing space on the inside. Okay, so now what we're just gonna do is add a little pizzazz to the front. So one of the first things I want to do is add we definitely have some gold, so let's do gold. Oops. I need some more eyelets. Okay. All right. This one. I'm trying to figure out where the... Okay, so give or take, the center is going to be right here. So we're just going to mark that with the pencil because I'm fixing to punch it out. Right? Oops. Wrong section. Come on. And I'm just going to find it, and we're going to do our very best. All right. I probably should squeeze it a little more just to get it good and down. Alrighty, there. There we have it. I already have this one. I want to say that's okay, but we can make it a tad bit thinner. So let's do that. Scissors. So this is from one of those chindi rugs that I bought, and then I tore the whole thing apart. Y'all, oh my gosh, that was like a mess. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna let me tear it. Maybe I should cut it a little more. It's already kind of thin, right? Yeah, it's like, we're as thin as we're gonna get, Miss Ma'am. Okay, fine. Y'all saw it here. I tried to tear it a little more. You go up there. Where are, there they are. My handy dandy tweezers. Okay. And we're just gonna tie this. This just lets me know where to cut it. We're going to do a knot so it stays. And we are just going to cut it right there. Okay. There we go. And we can still see the trip that's sticking out. This goes there. This is going to go in my little cluster box. Those little tiny pieces are great for clusters. Excuse me. This little piece of trash. All right. Now the next thing I want to put on here is a pocket. Now I'm wondering, do I want 1 or 2 pockets? I am loving, can I just say how much I am loving using vellum? So I want to use vellum. I have this one and I have this one. I really kind of like the woodwork, right? That's nice. Okay, so let me put that over here. So if I put it's so hard. Because I kind of want a tall pocket. Okay, sorry, you're missing out. You're just losing out. I really want to do this pocket. Now, I know we may be able to see the glue. Now, I could double it over. So, I don't know if you are a member of my Facebook group, you have seen this trick. But, let me show you on my YouTube. So, I did this, actually, last night. Where is my, there it is. I did this last night on my YouTube. It's a little toy I found. Makes me so happy. To be able to make pockets that look really cool. This is going to be a tall pocket. Oh, I don't like that tall pocket. I don't like it that tall. Okay, the good thing about this vellum is it already has lines for me to follow, right? Great. Okay, that pocket was just a little too tall. Okay. And I don't want it to be the whole entire length. So I am going to cut it right here. I got that going. So I'm going to get my handy dandy ruler, line it up, and tear. Loving, loving, loving this whole tear by the ruler thing. It is amazing. Okay, let me line this up and then the ruler. Done. It is tore. Okay, so this is, now I could cut it and I could make the pocket like that. I could, and I could glue it down and you could see the glue. And maybe I'll do that on the back side so y'all can see what I'm talking about. But, okay, I like the tore look. And one side has the tore look and the other side does not. So let me see. Can I tear off a hair? This is going to be a test. No. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's fine. It is what it is, right? So it's going to go here. Now let's ink this up. I am in love with vellum, which is good because I have so much of it. I knew it would come in handy. Alright, and I can tell my battery's about to die, so I'm going to switch batteries before I get all into this. So I switched out the battery. Alright, so my new fancy tool I got is, and because I love vellum so much, is this is a stapleless stapler. And it does, and I'll show you, it just does these really cool little imprints. And I haven't quite learned how to line it up like for the big projects that I do. But it does these cool little imprints. So I know you're like, okay, that's no different than seeing the glue, except this looks different. It doesn't look like glue. It looks vintagey. That is what that is my story, and I'm just gonna stick to that. Okay, so we are going to glue the whole back side down. Now I could have just cut this in half and used half of the vellum, but I like the look of this little pocket. Okay, and I am going to be 1000% honest with you and tell you I didn't think beyond this. So let's see. I know that I have some of these labels that would look good, like just on the bottom here, just to kind of give it some character. I like that one. Do I have anything with like pink? Let's see. Again, these are like my medicine. I don't know what these are called. I'm going to be honest with you. They're on my website, which is sad. I have a lot of stuff on my website. But if you go to, I think these are digital ephemera pages. That may be a bit better. You know, the red. Anything else jumping out That's too red. Okay, that looks better than that. So many little bits and bobs. Okay, I'm just going to go with these two for the moment. I think. But I do have some other items that I printed out today. So let's look at some of those because they are complimentary, I think. Because this paper right here is just scrapbook paper I've had from all of my days of collecting scrapbook paper. But as y'all know, I do have my own shop. Not Etsy. Okay, there is no shade to Etsy. I have a lot of reasons why I don't use Etsy, but that is not what we're here for today. But I will say this. My website is not on Etsy. I have my own website. I built my own website, so I didn't have to abide by the rules of others. Because those suck. Right? Alright, let's round these just really quick. I say really quick, like that's gonna happen. No, but I'm not on Etsy. I tried it. I've tried it several times because I'm like, let me use their algorithm or blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. And there is zero freedom with Etsy. I love all the freedom I have with building my own website, and that's what I did. So, you will not find me on Etsy or Shopify or any of those. I value myself and my business enough to take all things into consideration and build my own website. And that is what I'm so proud of. Okay. Now, tentatively, that is what is going to go there. But look at all this. So these are, and I shared the how-to video on my Patreon. But these are my background pages. I have my dragonfly and my butterfly and vintage ledger. These are all my background pages that are like 8.5 by 11. But I figured out how to print them as a 1.5 by 1 or a 4 by 6 or 3 by 7. No, 2.5 by 3.5. I'm so excited for that. So that being said, let's take these beauties, scissors, and cut. And I am not going to apologize anymore for being a slow crafter. You either hang out with me or you don't. You either like to watch the finished product or you don't, and that's okay. Me trying to be someone other than I am is exhausting. So, hello. My name is Stephanie, and I am a slow crafter. I don't have it all figured out when I sit down in front of my camera. It may take me 30 minutes, or it may honestly take me an hour and a half or 2. I don't know, but I guarantee you what you're gonna get from me is real. I put very little editing. If I edit, it's simply because I've been interrupted or I had to get up and go search for something and it took me forever. or I'm doing something super mundane and I'll speed through it. But as far as like editing out all the imperfections, I don't have time for that. Okay, I don't. Okay, so I bought this set. So it's the purple, the pink, and the yellow. Like corner rounders of sorts. But this purple one, and I had to write it on here so I wouldn't forget, it says ticket. And that cuts it out. These little 1.5, what is it? 1.5 by 1. So when I go to print these, I am able to choose like contact information, and it prints all of these out, everything that I have highlighted, as a 1.5 by 1. And like I said, I have that video is available for all my patrons. Okay, let me back up. All my paid patrons. And so that is the Windows version, and this week I will be uploading the Mac version. I just had to have a friend of mine like screen record for me. But yeah, there is a way that you can print all kinds of different sizes and you don't lose the quality. So if you have digitals, mine or anybody else's, you can print them in different sizes. It is great. Like when I discovered that, y'all, let me just tell you, that was like the highlight of my whole everything. And now I just cut out these things, my images that I made from my digitals. And again, it's like 3 different ones. It's the grunge butterfly, it's the dragonfly ones, and some ledger. I just cut them out and I just snipped them with my little corner rounder. Now, if you don't have a corner rounder that does that, you can honestly take a regular hole punch. Yeah. So you can take a regular hole punch and see how this is literally just a half a circle. So you can just do half on all 4 with the little hole punch and have that ticket effect. So you don't have to have a fancy punch. I just happen to get all the fancy punches. If you just have a regular hole punch, you can do half a punch, half a punch, half a punch, and half a punch, and you would have that same ticket effect. Alrighty then. Okay, so we have this and this. So I'm wondering, like if some layering, not with that one though, I think this. So we can do that. Maybe and layer it. Or maybe I just put that in the middle with one of these. Okay, that probably looks better, in my opinion. Okay, that tore, and I don't care, because I think it, excuse me, gives it character. So we're just going to leave that. So we're just decorating the center of that. And again, no exact science. There we go. And then these little tickets can be saved, right? Excuse me. Now I need a little tag to go in there. I do have in my little scrap box. So these were in a, I'll show you. So all of these are index cards that were torn apart a whole long time ago. Okay, where's the box that these were in? Where I reorganized and redecorated. I don't know where I moved that box to. So it's like basically like an address thing. It had like the vanilla things that A through Z, right? But this was in there. So, and then I have taken a few of these and put some washi tape on the edges because those washi tapes were almost gone, like ended. Okay, so let's go ahead and just punch these to some fancy looking tags. And then we'll punch the bottoms at a regular 4 just to round them a bit. So that's a tag. Now we can really get fancy with this one. This requires some force. But it's so pretty. I don't even remember where I got this from. Anyway, it's not quite even. But we're going to be okay with it. So these are just little pieces that were, I mean, a whole bunch of them. I mean, you saw this whole stack. I did not do that. These were already torn and they're already kind of weathered. Now I am going to ink up a little bit just to make sure it's all even, especially since I have ruined this one, but we're going to go with it. Great journaling spots. So this can go in. We'll do this one. Man, my hands really do get gross. I didn't realize, I mean, yes I did. That's not entirely true. Okay, so we have those, but they need a little something, right? Like some kind of deco on them. Let's do some floral books, just because honestly this is the first thing that I pulled out. Okay, those are probably too big, but let's just say these are the floral books. Ooh, I like that. That is very fall. That's too big. Now we do have some pinks going on. I'm okay if it takes up that because there's journaling on the back. So we could definitely do something like that. That's kind of big, but for the sake of continuity, I think that's what we're going to do. I pulled my floral books and that is what we're going to use. Okay, I love this system. It is so good. So good. Oh my gosh, I have not closed this. Close it now. Hurry, hurry. Okay. Now, there is more white space than I like. And what's funny is these are my own. Right? So these are my own die cuts. I can only get as close as I can get. And sometimes we do have to get our scissors out if we don't like as much white. It is a tricky business, these offsets, I will tell you. Okay, I don't care about those little pieces. So I'm going to trim way up in there. Something that if I try to get my machine to do, it's just like, oh, that's so much. Especially if it's close together. Again, we can only do what we can do, right? But I am with all of you. The least amount of white border is preferable. So I do my bestest. Because those little blades on the machines, I mean, they're pretty fine blades, right? So when you're telling them to go into all these intricate, it ends up just chewing up the paper. I wished it wasn't so, but, you know, I didn't create the machines. So it can be a little on the rough side. Especially as a shop owner, because I'm with you. I don't like all the white. And the more white that I have to, see that right there is a no. The more white that I have to ink up, it just doesn't look right. Correct? Correct. So you may have to go in a hair and fussy cut if that is something that you prefer. But you won't have to do many or much of that. Because I don't like it either. It's so funny. My whole thing is I'm not trying to sell you white space. However, I did not make up how Silhouette reads things and how it does things. So that can be a different story entirely. I wished it wasn't so, but it is. Alright, let's get this glued down. And again, it's just a simple decoration on the front of a tag. And I know this video is probably going to be like 600 hours long. I'm okay. Some things, like when I did my waterfall, I really knew exactly how I was going to decorate it. So I was able to kind of pre-make and pre-cut certain elements. But then there's other videos like this where I have no clue. All the decorations that I'm going to use or do, you know, it's whatever strikes my fancy in the moment. So, and again, you either love me or you don't. You're either here or you're not. I just hope this, like, inspires someone or helps someone do something different in their journals. Okay. All right, all of that to make 2 tiny little tags. So we'll just make the little tab toppers this. Oh, how cute. And you know what? I am going to just embrace the staple because this honestly is the easiest thing to do. And I'm okay if there's a little staple. So we have that one. And if we do that. Easy peasy. Don't overthink it. Don't stress over it. Don't, oh, what about, no. Just do it. Who cares if you see a little staple? Now, if I was stapling up the whole joint, that might be cause for concern. Okay. This does not want to be flat. There we go. Just a little staple. All right. So those are going to go in there. Okay, where is this? Right there. Like right where the tear is. And then there we have it. So much writing space. And then we can put something on the back, or we could, let me get my idea book just so I can show you. So this could definitely go into a, oh my gosh, a pocket. So this could go into a pocket. Like even a pocket like this, right? So it could go into a pocket like that. I haven't decorated this yet, but that's okay. It's just a lunch bag. It could, and again, I take a lot of my tags, and it could just, this whole back side could get glued to the back. So if this was glued down, right? If that was glued down, you would have this opening like that. So a lot of journaling space, and that could definitely be glued in to the thing, or it could be in a pocket. This is not a pocket. I don't think I have any just pockets in here. See, honestly, like that is super cool, and it could just be glued onto that and flip. Actually, I think I'm going to do that. I don't know. Maybe not. But that's how that could go. Or we could just have a pocket that it could go into. I could, that's too matchy, but it could definitely go into a pocket, or it could be glued on a page to where you could just open it and write in it, and then still be able to pull out the secret writing space. So that is what I am calling an accordion pocket tag. And I love it. So this is the one we made together. Why is it tags are so hard to like just get in? It's because when we put glue on the edges, it definitely makes it interesting as far as how much space. But that is what I made, and here is my sample. And I don't mind taking my sample. So my sample has a pocket on the back. So this would definitely tuck into something. So you would have the writing space, and then you would have this little thing on the back. On this one, I didn't do anything on the back, so it could be glued in. So those are the things that we did today. The accordion tag. Accordion pocket tag. So what do y'all think? Let me know. See, I'm all zoomed in. Alright, let me know in the comments down below what you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss anything. And until next time, y'all have a blessed day. Bye!